what's up, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer55551, and I am back with a My Two Cent Switch slash gaming video for this week, where I take a look at some of the stories that came out and give you, or the ones that at least interest me though, and give you my thoughts and my opinions. So why don't we get started with the first one? And the first one has to do with the NPD sales. Now, as I'm sure you're all aware that the NPD released their sales of what games sold well and what did well and what didn't, and it certainly came, and they just released their sales. And if you're an Xbox owner, obviously this one probably was good for you for this month, though, for the month of May. So according to VentureBeat, though, it points out that in terms of software sales, and they got this from the NPD. Again, links are in the description. Despite not getting great reviews, though, apparently State of Decay 2 became the #1 software sale for May 2018, though, dethroning God of War 2018. Although that got second place, along with Detroit Becomes Human. It came in at third, though. Other games on the list that made it as well, for Sony as well, is MLB 18, the show, ranked in at number 11 on the list. As far as Nintendo goes, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze got ranked in at number 5. Hyrule Warriors, a definitive edition, ranked in at number 7, with Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild taking in 13th and 14th place, with the rest of the list being third parties, with Far Cry 5 ranking in at number 4, though, and Grand Theft Auto 5 still hanging on in there at number 6. Like I said before, and I'll say it again, that's becoming Skyrim. It won't never die or anything like that. Keep in mind, these are all physical releases, not digital releases as well. As far as it says right here, according to the article, though software sales were down year over year last month, Undead Labs' zombie survival game, State of Decay 2, did well for itself. It was May's bestseller, and it sold almost twice as many copies as its prequel, State of Decay. A little less month after its launch, Microsoft announced at the Electronic Entertainment Expo that it had acquired the studio. Quantum Dreams, Cautiously Android Tale, Detroit Becomes Human, also had a terrific launch, placing third on the top seller charts. Excuse me, though. Detroit's success contributed to Sony's bragging rights as the best-selling publisher of the month, along with God of War, which is now the second best-selling game of the year. Though Sony was on top in May, Ubisoft continues to reign in as top earner publishers year to date, and Activision Blizzard has generated the most revenue in the last 12 months. The Nintendo Switch also had a number of top-selling games in May. Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze and Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition both placed in the top 10, even though NPD sales doesn't track digital sales from Nintendo eShop. Nintendo Switch sales in May generated a growth of 90% when compared to a year ago, delivering the highest quality software revenue for any Nintendo platform in May since Nintendo Wii in May 2011. Now, in terms of the best-selling games for their respective system, obviously being number one in terms of software sales for the month of May, State of Decay 2 is the #1 selling game for the Xbox One, with Sea of Thieves at number 8, and the rest of the list filled up with, say, number 2, Far Cry 5, Players Unknown Battleground, Grand Theft Auto 5, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, Call of Duty World War II, Overwatch, NBA 2K18, and FIFA 18. Over on the PS4, despite God of War not being the #1 game in May, it still is #1 in terms of the software for just the PS4. That's at #1 at the #1 spot, with Detroit Becomes Human at number 2, Far Cry 5 at number 3, MLB 18 to show at number 4, Grand Theft Auto 5 at number 5, no pun intended, FIFA 18 at number 6, NBA 2K 18 at number 7, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege at number 8, Call of Duty World War II at number 9, and 10 is Overwatch. On the Nintendo side, for the Switch though, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze and Hyrule Warriors are at the top of the charts, with Tropical Freeze at number 1, Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition at number 2, Mario Kart 8 at number 3, Super Mario Odyssey at number 4, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild at number 5, number 6 is Splatoon 2, number 7 Kirby Star Allies, number 8 Labo Toy-Con Variety Kit. Obviously that is doing well. It looks like that is doing better than the Robot Kit, though by how much I really don't know. Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle at number 9, and the only third-party game so far on this list, Elder Scrolls V Skyrim at number 10 on this list. So that game is certainly hanging on there and certainly doing well on the Switch. Hopefully that is going to convince Bethesda to stick around and support the Switch even more. As far as the best-selling games so far 2018, right now it seems God of War 2018 is and MLB the 18 to show are the only Sony first-party games as the best-selling games for 2018 so far, with Mario Kart 8 being the only Nintendo game, with Far Cry 5 still being at number 1. So God of War is still selling very well in 2018 so far. As far as the best-selling games over the last 12 months, apparently only one first-party game is on that list, and that is Super Mario Odyssey being at number 5, with the rest of the list being third-party titles like Call of Duty World War II, NBA 2K 18, Destiny 2, Madden NFL 18, Star Wars Battlefront 2, Far Cry 5, Grand Theft Auto 5, Assassin's Creed Origins, and FIFA 18. So what's kind of the takeaway from this list? Well, from the takeaway I took of it though is that despite people complaining about ports and all, obviously there's enough people that are willing to play a game like Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze and Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition, being that those games certainly did well. It's clear as though that Nintendo will probably bring more Wii U ports over, which if that happens though, honestly, I think they should bring Xenoblade Chronicle X over. I really do. So, but well, maybe they'll bring over other games like maybe The Wonderful 101, Super Mario 3D World. Don't know if that'll happen, but we'll have to wait and see. But obviously though, people are buying ports of games onto the Nintendo Switch, and with Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze doing well, hopefully this will convince them to consider doing another Donkey Kong game, which I would definitely be down with though. And the other thing I took away from it is that obviously, regardless of whether you agree with the reviews of State of Decay 2 or not though, it's clear that it pulled a Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, which in that case for that movie, that was considered rotten on Rotten Tomato, but despite that, that didn't stop that from being the #1 movie in America, I think earning about 180 million at the box office. So even with the negative reviews, I mean, not all reviews won't always impact the game. Sometimes it will, but there are times when it doesn't. And so obviously this did not impact State of Decay 2. Whether you think that's a good or a bad thing, obviously that's going to be your opinion on that, but overall, obviously Microsoft has to be happy that State of Decay 2 did very well. Sony is still hanging on with God of War and Detroit Becomes Human. Those games seem to be continuing to do very well, and like I said before, despite being a port, obviously there are people that are willing to buy ports of old games like Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze and Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition. Not that I'm saying that the Switch is a port-only machine. It has to be more than that, though. But it's clear, though, that there are still an audience for those kind of ports of a game. And obviously, The Labo is still hanging on there, though, although there's been some debate whether it's been a flop or not. So, overall, interesting sales numbers indeed. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to get to part 2 of our story, and part 2 of our My 2 Cent video, and this one's going to be a new update for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So we're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of our video, and for this one, we're going to be taking a look at a update that just was announced for Mario Kart Deluxe 8, and that is with the Nintendo Labo. Now, as I mentioned before about the Labo, there's been some debate over whether or not it has flopped or not. Some people say it did, others say Nintendo met their expectations, or at least that's what Nintendo is saying. Whether you think that's a PR spin or not, you could debate that however you want to look at that, though. But apparently Nintendo is trying to get people to support the Nintendo Labo, and for today, or apparently recently, they just announced a update for the first game that will be Nintendo Labo compatible or will support Nintendo Labo, and that is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. From their website, though, from Nintendo's own website, again, links will be in the description, it says, quote, and this was published on 6/25/18, 3, 2, 1, Nintendo Labo. Starting today, a free software update is available for the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe game for the Nintendo Switch system, allowing you to use the Toy-Con motorbike from the Nintendo Labo Variety Kit to control your in-game vehicle. Enjoy every game mode and every vehicle type with this immersed interactive control option that makes you feel like you're really in the driving seat. And they have, click here to view a preview video of the new feature. After downloading the update for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, simply select the Nintendo Labo icon on the game title screen to access a menu where you can select the Toy-Cons as the control type. While racing, turning the handlebar changes direction, twisting the right handlebar accelerates, and the variety Joy-Con buttons are used for items, brakes, and drifting. Up to 4 players can play at the same time with the Toy-Con motorbike with their own Toy-Cons and Joy-Con controllers. Nintendo Lab kits and additional Joy-Cons are sold separately. Toy-Con motorbike is part of the Nintendo Labo Variety Kit, though. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the first game outside of Nintendo Labo software to receive Toy-Con support, and more titles will be compatible with Nintendo Labo in the future. There's a video, I believe, from Andre from Game Explain who's playing it, though, so you can check out that video as well. Honestly, I can see why Nintendo is doing this. Clearly, they want to make sure that there's continued support for Nintendo Labo, and I will say that using the motorbike is a good step in that right direction. That said, I think it would have been better if they had like sort of the steering wheel part. I'm not sure how the motorbike part would work. Then again, I don't have a Nintendo Labo, so I can't try it out myself. But clearly they want to have continued support for the Nintendo Labo as well. Whether this kind of update will convince people to, go out and buy Nintendo Labo, or whether how long they continue to support Nintendo Labo remains to be seen. But clearly they want to make sure it's one of those, it's more than basically you design it and then you stay in the closet and it collects dust or something like that. Same thing with the robot kit as well. Obviously they gotta have other games that can use the robot kit too, and until then that thing I think most likely will be collecting dust. I mean, the idea of a Godzilla game could actually work with that. But as far as this goes, this is interesting. The idea of using the motorbike, I think that's great that they're using it, though. Whether, like I said, whether it will catch on or not remains to be seen. But hopefully we'll see if Nintendo will have other games that will support the Nintendo Labo as well, okay? As for me, like I said about Labo, I think it's an interesting idea, but longevity is going to be the key right here. And obviously they want to keep the longevity with Nintendo Labo doing something like this Mario Kart 8 Deluxe update though. Whether this catches on or not remains to be seen, but obviously Nintendo wants to keep interest in the Labo going though. I don't know if there's any momentum for it though, but obviously they still want to keep interest in the Nintendo Labo. This is one of those interests. We'll have to wait and see if it clicks or catches on with people as well. Okay, we'll take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 3 of our video. And this one's going to look at some of the sales numbers that have come out for Mario Tennis Ace. This is not based off the NPD sales. These are sales from other countries as well. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 3 of our My 2 Cent video for this week. And for this one, we're going to be taking a look at, surprisingly, how well Mario Tennis Ace did. Now, the game just recently came out here in North America, and I've been playing a little bit of it, and honestly, I am enjoying it. It is a fun game. I never played the one on the Wii U. I heard there was a lot of criticism of a lack of content in that one, so I never got a chance to try this one out. But this one I am enjoying so far, and I will try to get to a review on that as soon as possible. In the meantime, though, the game seems to be doing very well in both Japan and in the UK. According to several articles, the first one is from Silicona, SILICONERA. Again, links are in the description below. This one looks at media crates, which, for those who are not familiar with that, they're the folks that look at the sales of games in Japan. They do it by a weekly basis, unlike here in the US, where it's NPD sales, which is done by a monthly, like they tell you the sales in each and every month. It points out that, quote, last week Japan saw the release of 3 big titles with Mario Tennis Ace for Switch, New Gundam Berserker for the PS4, and the physical version of Minecraft on Switch. Japanese sales tracker Media Crates released the latest video game software and hardware sales data for the week of June 18th through June 24th, 2018. The top spot of the week goes to Mario Tennis Ace, which saw a smashing debut with 123,774 units sold for the Switch to take the #1 spot. The previous Mario Tennis game, Mario Tennis Ultra Smash, sold 55,331 units on the Wii U back in January of 2016. Before that was Mario Tennis Open, which sold 101,645 copies for the 3DS in its debut in May 2012. So obviously Mario Tennis Ace is certainly doing well for this week. Be interesting to see how well it does next week though. Meanwhile, in the UK though, the GF chart tracker, and at least an article from Nintendo Life, apparently that took the #1 spot as well. According to the article, it says Mario Tennis Ace debut in the UK charts as #1, leading a resurgence of Nintendo Switch titles back into the top 10 and further afield. The quirky arcade sport title managed to knock God of War from the top spot, which has previously held firm over UK game sales. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has shot up from 7th to 4th, while Super Mario Odyssey has leaped from 14th to 9th in a single week. Even FIFA 18 held firm, not budging from its second place spot thanks to a certain thing called the World Cup, obviously. So according to the GFK chart trackers, according to them, the top 10 games in the UK so far, obviously Mario Tennis Ace is at #1, with FIFA 18 at #2, God of War at #3, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe at #4, Fallout 4 at #5, Detroit Becomes Human at #6, Grand Theft Auto 5 at #7, Call of Duty World War II at #8, Super Mario Odyssey at number 9, and finally PlayStation VR World at number 10. So obviously, both in Japan and in the UK, obviously Mario Tennis Ace is off to a good start, and that is a good thing though. I think it appears as though the game is definitely getting a more positive buzz than Ultra Smash did on the Nintendo Wii U. Obviously, a lot of people like the fact that there are more content in it than there was in the Wii U version, although there are some who feel like there's more that could be done to it, and that is possible. More that could be done. We'll have to wait and see what the NPD sales is to see how well the game does here in the US, but overall, it seems to be off to a good start though. Whether or not they can maintain that number 1 spot or how far they will drop though remains to be seen. We'll have to see what the media creates and in Japan, and of course, and the sales charge for the UK once the second weeks come in to see how well that game does. Will it still stay at number 1 or will it fall? And if it does fall, how far will fall off the charts though? So we'll have to wait and see. But overall, Nintendo has to be very pleased with the fact that Mario Tennis Ace is doing well in the UK and in Japan, and is at number 1 at least for now though. So good for that. Let's see. We'll have to wait and see how it does here in the US though. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to our 4th story, and this one has to do with comments regarding the possibility of Wolfenstein: The New Order and the Old Blood, the possibility of it coming to the Switch, plus a comment I just learned today over any possibility of Fallout 4 coming to the Nintendo Switch. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with our 4th and final part of our My 2 Cent video for this week. And for this one, we're going to take a look at some comments that were made regarding the possibility of certain Bethesda games coming to the Nintendo Switch. Now, as some of you all know, although this video will probably go up on Saturday, this week though, Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus is coming out to the Nintendo Switch. Now, I played the PS4 game and I enjoyed it as well. I enjoy the Wolfenstein series along with Doom. They are my favorite FPS shooters out there. I would pick them over Call of Duty any day though, and I stand behind that. So with last year when Doom came out, that was a big shocker that a game like that was coming to the Nintendo Switch, which a lot of us did not expect to happen, and my jaw dropped on that one. And hearing the announcement that Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, is coming to the Nintendo Switch as well. So, and I'm going to be picking that one up as well. But what about the future? What about other entries in the Wolfenstein series? And what about the possibility of other games coming to the Nintendo Switch from Bethesda, like Fallout 4? Well, in an interview with the developers at Panic Button, though, and this was basically from on Nintendo Life that was picked up by GameSpot. They were asked about whether the New Order or the standalone DLC, The Old Blood, can be coming to the Nintendo Switch. They said, quote, and the head studio of Panic Button said, That's a Bethesda's decision, honestly. It's up to them and Nintendo to do what works for the platform. I think it will be interesting to see how the new Colossus is received right after its launch and at the end of the month, and what Bethesda does from there. When pressed on the chance of either game currently being in active development at Panic Button, they replied, "Not currently, not that I know of, but Bethesda may have other plans, as we on the Panic Button side are totally up for anything." The other thing was a recent comment made by Todd Howard regarding the potential of a Fallout 4 port that could be coming to the Nintendo Switch, which, I mean, could, though. He teased about future Switch support, which is good, but at the same time confirmed no Fallout 4 re-release is planned. He said, quote, Well, there's definitely interest. It's not something we are exploring right now, said Howard. We think Switch is a great platform. It was the first time we really worked closely with Nintendo on Skyrim, and really great experience, and we certainly be doing more things there in the future. But right now, it's not a mainline Fallout 4. So, but obviously, as he said earlier, there is definitely interest though. Honestly, though, I'm somewhat disappointed, but not surprised, though. It's clear, though, the fact that the New Order or the Old Blood is not coming to the Switch, at least not yet, though, it's possible they want to take a look and see how well the new Colossus does. I mean, there were some reports about Doom saying, some people say that Doom flopped on the Nintendo Switch. Others saying, well, wait a minute, VG charts are known to only not be it's not to be accurate, and they only chart the first 2 weeks, so it's possible the game could have done better. It also ranked in one of the parts of the Nintendo eShop as well, so it's possible that game may have done better, and it's possible that they want to wait and see how Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus does before deciding whether or not to bring the New Order or the Old Blood over, though. Honestly, personally, I would love to see the New Order and the Old Blood come to Nintendo Switch. That would be great to play those Wolfenstein games coming over. As far as Fallout 4, though, again, somewhat disappointed, but it's possible they are taking a wait-and-see approach, though. As far as future support for Bethesda, though, hopefully it's not just mobile games like Fallout Shelter and all that's the only thing they're bringing to the Nintendo Switch. Not that I have anything wrong with Fallout Shelter. As far as a mobile game goes, it's definitely one of the better ones, but I would rather prefer Fallout 4 come to the Nintendo Switch rather than Fallout Shelter. I mean, I would settle if they were willing to port Fallout 3 with all of its DLCs to the Nintendo Switch, if they could pull that off. Hell, I would be okay if they brought, Evil Within 1 and 2, Dishonored 1 and 2, and Prey to the Nintendo Switch. I would be okay with that. And while there are some people who are sick and tired of ports and would like to see something like Doom Eternal or Rage 2 come to the Nintendo Switch, and don't get me wrong, I would love to see those games come to the Nintendo Switch indeed. And I can understand the argument that not everybody is down with the idea of ports, but I do think ports can be necessary, as they can help keep people occupied as they build up to that big release, providing that it's a proper port done right. So I'm somewhat disappointed that there's no plans, at least right now, for a Fallout 4 or a Wolfenstein, the New Order, and the Old Blood, but it doesn't sound like they're shutting the door completely on it, though. So I'm hoping that they can reconsider. I'm hoping that Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus, does well, and hopefully they'll bring the DLCs over as well, that it does well enough that they'll bring the New Order and the Old Blood over, and maybe if they do a Wolfenstein 3, that will come to the Nintendo Switch as well. And I'm also hoping Doom Eternal comes to the Nintendo Switch. Yes, Doom on Switch wasn't a perfect port by any chance. It was running at 720p 30 frames per second compared to the 1080p 60 frames per second that you could get on Xbox One, PS4, PC, or at the 4K resolution on PC. But they managed to pull it off, and they managed to make the game run well. Again, not perfect, but run very well. Hopefully this will convince them to consider bringing, Doom Eternal and the other two Wolfenstein games as well. Well, and given how well Skyrim is doing so far on the Switch, though, I think it ranked at number 10 on NPD in terms of on the top 10 best-selling games on the Nintendo Switch. Hopefully this will convince them to consider bringing Fallout 4 over to the Nintendo Switch. Or Fallout 3. I would prefer 4, but I'm okay with 3 coming if they're bringing 3 over, though. So overall, somewhat disappointed, but somewhat not surprised. I'm sure they're just waiting to see what the results are for it, though, and where they go from there. So I'm hoping Bethesda continues to support the Nintendo Switch, though I would like to see more of Fallout 4. I'd like to see more games like Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus, and less of Fallout Shelter. But again, that's my take on the situation. Okay, this concludes this My 2 cent video for this week. And again, these are my opinion, but what are yours? What are your thoughts about the NPD sales for May of 2018? Were you surprised that State of Decay 2 did very well? Were you not surprised at all? Do you think this could be a turning point for the Xbox brand or the Xbox One, or do you don't think it's a turning point at all? Did you like what you see? Did you think some of the games did well? Did you think some of the games did poorly? What are your thoughts about this update for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe using the Nintendo Labo? Do you think this is a smart move on Nintendo? Do you think it's a dumb move? Do you think this will get more people interested in getting the Nintendo Labo? Or do you think this won't really do anything with Nintendo Labo at all? What are your thoughts about the game Mario Tennis 8 doing well in Japan and UK? Do you think the game's off to a good start? Do you think we could see the game do well here in the US? Or do you think this is just a fluke or anything like that? And what are your thoughts about what Panic Button's saying currently there are no plans for the New Order or the Old Blood to come to the Switch, at least not yet though. Do you think they should bring that game over? Do you think they should just skip that game altogether? Do you think they should bring Fallout 4 over? Fallout 4, or do you think they should not bring that game over? Do you think Bethesda should continue to support the Nintendo Switch? Do you agree with what I said in this video? Do you disagree? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound off on the comments section below. Let me know what you think. I hope you hit that like button. I would appreciate it. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure you also hit the bell icon for any notifications. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to, and feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You can do it through PayPal me or Patreon. Links will be in the description of this video. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that will be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good day then. Bye!